guys, it's Roger Sisk here, one of your co-hosts of Chase the Unknown. I just want to give you a quick heads up. Unfortunately, we did have a few technical issues while recording this episode. Thankfully, we were able to go back and re-record some of it for you guys, but I just want to give you a quick heads up that if you hear any changes in quality to the audio or anything that during the episode the quality goes back and forth or such, that's purely on our end, just because we had to go back and fix a few things. We're doing our absolute best to always step up our quality and get better as we're going along, as we're going down through this journey, and we're just stepping out and trying. That's one of the things we talk about in this episode. So I appreciate you bearing with us, and enjoy. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Chase the Unknown. I'm so excited to have you here for another week. I'm one of your co-hosts here, Roger Sisk, along with your co-hosts Trinity Dobbs and Jarred Robert Todd. You know, as creatives, especially for me, one of the things I always do is I'm always asking myself, how can I make whatever I'm working on better? How can I improve? And one of the ways that I feel like, and we feel like we can improve Chase the Unknown for you guys to create a better listening experience is really to be more aware of who we are. I know we haven't been really specific in terms of introducing ourselves or kind of laying out who we are, you know. We just kind of just start talking, you know. We're not too much into introductions, if you know what I mean. So just quickly, we wanted to go back over for any new listeners that may have started listening to us in the last few episodes, and just say a few things about who we are and just reintroduce ourselves. So my name is Roger Sisk. I'm one of your co-hosts here, and I'm a producer here at Right Time Productions, a company that runs this podcast. And then I'm here with my co-host Trinity Dobbs and Jarred Robert Todd. He's an Atlanta-based actor here, and we love him. He's recently come onto the team, helping us do some writing and some directing and some other things. And we've just loved having him on the team so far. So actually, let's go ahead and start with you, Jarred.
Hey, well, I'm Jarred. I'm real happy to be a part of the team. I'm an actor, and that's how I found Right Time Productions. I was doing one of their auditions, and then I just started helping out on set, doing other things, getting to know them, and here we are today. So that's what I've been doing.
Right. Well, I'm Trinity, and I guess I'm the reason this even exists.
We all blame you.
That's fine. You know what? I'll take it.
You're willing to take the blame.
I am willing to take that blame.
Hey, it's totally okay. It's totally okay.
I mean, Right Time is like it was a dream. It was a creative outlet for me. And I just wanted a community of people that I trusted and people who were like-minded. And so when Right Time became, it just pushed the two together.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that's what this is.
And as we've talked about before, as we talked about in the pilot a little bit, at the end of the day, we don't do this podcast, or we don't do anything because we completely know what we're doing, because at the end of the day, we're a community where we can learn and grow together. And that's what we're trying to really foster with Right Time Productions, and we feel like, if that doesn't apply to us, then in a way, we're just kind of hypocrites, so we can't be afraid to step out there and just try, because that's the first step.
And I think that the benefit is that we are so open about not knowing everything, whereas Hollywood is very like, we know what we're doing, leave us alone.
Exactly.
We're not like that.
They will literally go and yell at you for touching a Apple box, which I've had that experience.
Yeah, because it's strange. It's like that's their job, I guess. Why do they do that?
I don't know. It's interesting because this is actually what I wanted to naturally talk about today in terms of I was watching a YouTube channel called Corridor Digital. They have another channel called Corridor Crew I was watching about a week ago. And the two founders, Sam and Nico, they're talking about why we're giving up on the film industry. Sam and Nico explain their motivations behind leaving the traditional, quote, film industry behind, and announce their future goal for, corridor digital. I thought this concept was fascinating because, at least in the past, I've never really heard this talked about. At least in my view of things, there's so many people out there, I think, that I've seen in the filmmaking community that are, in a way, crawling to get into it, to get into the traditional film industry, and with my background and my experience, while limited, I've found myself coming to the very same, in a way, consensus, the very same thought pattern that they did in terms of why they wanted to leave, and I think in a way that kind of all plays into why I even wanted to join Trinity, and really get behind Right Time as a whole to start with, and so I think that's why one of the reasons why I feel like I'm passionate about talking about this topic is because what does it look like to create content outside of the traditional film industry and make it work, One of the main points they made in the video, is that after some experiences, some things, some opportunities that they had, in the traditional film industry they found themselves still creatively unfulfilled because, just the amount of, in a way, red tape that you have to go through within the traditional film industry, while structure is important, you can't have creativity without structure. You need structure to make anything work, to make anything happen. But it's so structured and so non-fluid, not flowing at all. There's no room for, at least from what I was understanding, they felt stifled. They felt like they didn't have as much creative control as they wanted. They felt like, they didn't have as much freedom as they would as, making videos on their YouTube channel. They can still make a great product and make great content on YouTube, and they do. It's really a testament to me, I feel like, of what you can do, outside of the traditional film industry, but and that's the main thing they talked about, I'm sure they had words and were able to elaborate it better than I ever could. But I would encourage you to go check that video out if you want to see it. It's on their Corridor Crew channel. Why We're Giving Up on the Film Industry. Go check it out. But anyway, so that, long story short, that led me to really thinking about me and what my approach really is to why I want to create content outside of the film industry. Why I don't, when so many people are clawing to get into the film industry, why did I, in a way, walk away as opposed to take the opportunity and run with it, because I could have, and so I think that's a little bit of what we wanted to talk about today. So with all that being said, let me ask the question, why do you feel like it's important to create independent content outside of Hollywood, outside the traditional film industry structure, the cog of the studio system, you know what I'm talking about?
For me, it's moving the medium forward and showing maybe somebody who has the power and the budget to make a larger film that, hey, this works, this is good, here's something new. And yeah, so that's for me. Yeah.
It's a really hard one. It's something that makes you think,
There's a lot, yeah.
But I think it's a lot of these situations where it forces you to think, we need to be put, as creatives, I feel like we need to be put in situations where we're forced to think.
I think independent films are important because it almost agrees with our message. It shows people that it doesn't matter where you came from or how much money you have or what equipment you use, you can still achieve your dream.
Yeah.
That's
definitely
what I think. Because it doesn't have to be, the best, but you're at least doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the important part.
Exactly. You're getting out there and trying. You're not leaving it up to anyone else to dictate it.
Be like Nike and just do it. Okay?
or Shia LaBeouf, just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Oh, I remember when that commercial came out or whatever it was. That's a throwback. Mm-hmm. And also, you could even go back to the main point, they brought up in terms of, when you are in kind of that cycle of the Hollywood studio system, you lose a lot of control. You don't have complete creative say or control over what you do, your creative vision for it. It's, you have so many benchmarks along the way that you have to get, whether it's approval from or whatever it is, you do lose a lot of that creative control,
Yeah. I mean, as soon as you give them that, or as soon as you take that money from them, they, there's like, okay, so now I can change this and do this,
Mm-hmm.
There's an exchange. Definitely. It's okay. Well, yeah, we'll give you $10 million to produce a movie, but we have final cut, or we can approve this. We can deny. It's like, it's almost kind of like the president in terms of where, he has veto power, and that's what it's like working with the studio. And they're really just talking about, how that they really felt like that impeded on their creative process, that they've got ideas that they want to run after and they want to go after, that they can do, even as a small studio, pretty much just existing on, brand deals and AdSense and such, while they don't have a lot of money, even with as big of a YouTube channel that they are, even though they don't have a ton of money, they're able to produce this content, and some of their videos are incredible. I encourage you to go check them out on the Quarter Crew and on Quarter Digital channels,
which we will link down below.
Definitely. We're actually, I'm hoping to get one of them on the podcast here soon, but that's probably just a pipe dream.
Nice.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. They have these dreams. They talked about how they have these dreams and visions to do projects, but they will never happen inside the Hollywood structure because the Hollywood structure doesn't see a value for it,
Right.
It doesn't.
Go ahead.
And another thing they don't value is like risk. Basically, they want something that works, and risk moves the medium forward. And there is a lot of money riding on these projects, so they want a guaranteed return.
Yeah.
But if you're independent and if you can do it on your own, you can do creatively whatever you want, and take a risk and do something new.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that was kind of my whole thing with Right Time. I wanted to produce my own stuff, because I knew I would get typecast, specifically because of the look that I have and the look that I give off to other people, which there's nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to be seen as a versatile actress. I don't want to be typecast.
Yeah.
And I think Hollywood does that too much. Jennifer Aniston, for example, she's been typecast.
Oh, totally.
She will never get like a role outside of Rachel or the prom queen type. And I wanted to give the people I work with a chance to show their creativity.
Exactly.
As well.
When you are a studio, you have the power. The power is in your hands to make the decision. Okay, we want to greenlight this, or we want to greenlight this. We don't want to go with this. You have the power to do your own project. Yes, it's a risk. But I say that it's actually more conducive to your creativity to fund your own projects and do things independent way, than to go try and go through the Hollywood system. I think one of the main reasons why I feel like I have a passion for the subject, is, as someone who's always been creative growing up, I would always get the question, when people would meet me, and I'd say, oh yeah, I'm into video or I'm into film or whatever it is, the first question always out of their mouth was, oh, like, well, we have Pinewood right up the road now, because if you don't know, we're based here in Atlanta, south of Atlanta, and we have Pinewood Studios, Atlanta, right up the road. And so that's the first thing. And then so it was interesting because I kind of had to find out how to answer that. I had to kind of come up with almost, I don't want to say automated response, but I did have to come up with a response for that question. I had to answer for that of, okay, why am I not wanting to get involved with Pinewood? And originally my response was, oh, maybe we'll say blah, 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 But then I had an experience, where actually when they started up GFA, Georgia Film Academy, I actually went to the very first class they had. I was in the very first class, and so I kind of got a education, you could say, so you can say that I've been to film school now, but I bring that up to say, yeah, it's very funny. I bring all that up to say is that thankfully through that opportunity, I was actually able to get on a few major sets with some pretty high skill people. I was put in situations, that a lot of people don't get to be in, with some people, along with rubbing shoulders with people, working with people that in the film industry that I think a lot of independent filmmakers can only dream of, really, unless they're given the opportunity, and the way the entertainment industry is set up, where it's so connection based, I realized, that I had to take full advantage of this opportunity, and so I had to figure out what I wanted. Basically, I feel like it was a really growing experience to find out essentially what I wanted, not only as a person but as a filmmaker, and I got to see firsthand what the environment of an actual Hollywood set looks like. And that was my first thought process into, okay, I don't want this, and so my thought process, and so then my next natural thought process was, well, what does it look like to be on a set? What does it look like to be on a set that's not like this? That's not only professional, but that's fun and is respectful, no matter what position you're in, whether you're the DP or whether you're a PA, everyone's just going to honor and honestly have a mutual respect for each other, because we're all valuable at the end of the day. The only way I can do that is to create it myself. And even after going on a few independent film sets and such, that surprisingly we're independent Christian films, and I'm not trying to bash independent Christian films or anything, because that's going to be a whole nother topic for another time. But I found the set to be a lot similar. Well, yeah, they weren't doing pot off the toilet seat at the rap party or whatever you want to say, because that does happen. It still felt very stressed, very uptight. You could feel it in the atmosphere. And it was kind of a shock to me of like, wow, and so that's kind of what really started me on down this journey of what does it look like to foster a community on a set that's not Hollywoodized? What does it look like?
I really liked what you said about, creating your own opportunities. What you said about creating your own opportunities, just because that's something I've heard a lot. I don't think a lot of people have pursued it though as much as you have, Roger. Not only do you write the stories you want to see happen, you film them, you make it happen, and it takes a lot of effort. But I think, and it seems to me, at the end of the day, that it's worth it. Like, if you want to be a character, if you have this character in your head that you want to be, make the character.
Exactly.
Dude, like that. That's the actor side right there. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that was actually exactly why I did what I did. I wanted to play a specific character to showcase my range, which now, going back, is still something I would like to do, but that's not what needs to happen right now. I need to do something else first. Yeah. It's going to sound weird, and I'm kind of in a philosophical place in my life, but I don't need to do that now.
And it's really, if you go back and think about it, in terms of what I was just talking about, like we said, you lots of times when you're on a set or whatever, it's just you can feel the tension in the air. Sometimes you can feel kind of the stress that people are feeling, to whether it's get the next shot or get it in or get the shot before the sun goes down or whatever it is. Yeah. A lot of times you can feel that stress in the air, and I guess my question is, why is that the Hollywood norm? Why is that the Hollywood norm, you think? And weirdly, I feel like in Hollywood, we're presented with almost like a glamorized version of that. That's not like that. And so why is it like that?
I think it's a speed thing. Like time is like even more, like time is so precious. Like, time is money. It's even more precious than money though. Sometimes, I think it's that, and a single mistake that costs any amount of time is just really people kind of like are demanding perfection out of themselves due to that time limit.
Exactly.
And
that's what I feel like.
Not only that, but think about Hollywood. If they have people like Johnny Depp, Jennifer Aniston, I can imagine what Marvel spent on theirs just for that one day. Remember when Joaquin was talking about everybody was on set?
I was about to bring that up.
I wonder how much money that one day costs.
I remember them talking about it. The last shot there when everyone's at Tony Stark's funeral, that I believe that's on record as being the most expensive shot in movie history.
Oh, I bet.
Just because of what all those actors were making,
Yeah. And that's why I agree with Jarred, because I think that time is money and they want to get everything done.
And it's really interesting, even the rise, we can even go into this part of the conversation in terms of, even with the rise of platforms such as, YouTube and TikTok and all these things, of people that are going out and making their own content and they're making their own stuff. It's incredible some of the things that are being put out there they're basically funding it themselves. Of course there are some trade-offs, because it may take longer to produce. There most likely the things are going to be in production or in development a lot longer, but for that you trade off that control. You don't have a studio's hands on it. You maintain all the control and interest in that. Like you said, if you want to write a character this way, just write the character that way. You don't have to worry about studio interference, because I've heard so many arguments and so many conversations over the years about studio interference here and there, and that being blamed about why a movie's not good or whatever, when we have the power to just try, and that's, as long as you just try, that's the important part.
I mean, even people they're understanding of, even if it's not the best quality, it's the product itself and the message behind it that's more important.
Yeah. Going back to the original example, of them talking about why they're essentially giving up on Hollywood, I think at the end of the day, at the heart of it, they don't feel safe trusting Hollywood with their content, with their ideas. I think that's the heart of it, is they don't feel safe with trusting Hollywood. And that's same with me, like I have a hard time trusting a lot of people with my ideas, but you have to do that in order to succeed, in order to go after things. You have to have a team around you. You have to trust other people with your dreams.
Yeah, I agree with what actually Arnold Schwarzenegger said about that. It was at he was doing like a commencement speech, I think. If that's what it's called, at a college.
Yeah.
And what he said was basically that he's not a self-made man. I'm not sure if he went as far as saying the self-made man is a myth, but without all these people to support him in his dream in his life, he couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So it's true for everything. That support system you were mentioning, Trinity, I feel like it's true for like your life, anything really.
Yeah. I mean, human beings.
Human beings need each other. Yeah.
That's why I never understood the term loner, because I understand everybody needs alone time.
Yeah.
But to be like a true loner like that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And plus you're an extrovert, so
I'm very extroverted. I mean, it's
I mean, I can spend time alone by myself, but that I feel like that's when I'm like, I'm either writing or I'm editing or whatever it is. I can spend hours by myself, but that doesn't mean I'm being alone. I'm not. I hate taking. I cannot just like stop and take time with myself. I can't, because it's just not possible. Like if I do, I'm always thinking about something. I mean, I can sit for 20 minutes and do nothing, but that's because I'm spending that time thinking.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing, but that's okay.
That's funny. Well, this has been fun. Just having a quick conversation in terms of why we feel like independent content creation is important. And we just encourage anybody out there. If you're wanting to, if you're an independent filmmaker, you've got ideas, you've got thoughts, you've got dreams. I would just encourage don't feel like you have to wait on quote making it in Hollywood, or don't feel like you have to wait on anything. The only thing I heard someone say recently, the only thing that's stopping you is you. And so I just encourage you can go out and shoot with your iPhone. Go ahead, write something and go shoot it with your iPhone. Because a certain level, it doesn't matter how good it is. It just matters that you tried.
And not only that, but if you are like an editor, but you have this, idea that you want to like write something, then write it and take it to a friend or somebody in a creative setting, community of yours, and talk to them about it.
Oh, totally.
Because at least in this industry, everybody is supportive of each other. It doesn't matter anything. They're supportive. So if you can go and find that person, even if they don't agree with the entertainment.
Oh, totally.
They can at least support you. That's what you need.
Definitely. You have to be willing to learn and take feedback from people that don't agree with you. It's just possible. It's just part of it. You have to, or else you won't learn and grow as a person and as a filmmaker. You have to. It's part of the steps of growing. Yeah, definitely. But yeah. So this has been fun. We're going to be wrapping up season 1 actually here this week with episode 15. Join us for season 2 in 2 weeks' time. We'll have a brand new guest interview, and go ahead and join us then.
So many jokes.
So many inside jokes.
Going through my head.
So until then, never forget to go ahead and chase your dreams. Do not let anyone stop you.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.